Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. The camera is off here, and I'll do it like this, and then we'll have to fix it when we actually do the news. We're gonna do the news, but do you know what we're gonna do first? We're gonna sang.
You know, I got a jam-packed show for you today. I have a lot to cover. The impeachment hearings for Donald Trump went really well for Trump, not so well for the Democrats. I have all the highlights you didn't know you wanted to see.
What I keep thinking is the Democrats no good, something, horrible, rotten,
very bad week.
Very bad week. Yeah, that one. What is that? Like some kid's book or something? Like that's what kept going in my head.
Alexander and then very bad, horrible, no bad, whatever.
How do you know that?
It's just a kid's book. I just know it.
Well, that's what it's been like to watch this.
Yeah.
It's been like watching a cat like go into a mirror, like just bang its head.
But this week was incredibly boring. I mean, Tucker was boring, and then
hang on, they're telling me the mic's still not working. Oh, I know what it is. It's not that the mic isn't working. It's on the wrong microphone. So here we go.
All right. So
this week in news, as far as impeachment goes, it was boring. This week news was not actually boring. I have a lot of fantastic stories to give to you, to bring to you guys, stuff that you didn't see maybe this week because it was hidden because of the impeachment stupidity. We also want to talk to you guys. Today is the anniversary of JFK's death.
56 years.
56 years, and we just finished. I'm actually, to be completely honest, I'm like 2 pages away from finishing.
The Treasonous Cabal by Betty Jones.
I was shocked as he summed up the book.
Hang on, I haven't finished it yet. Listen.
It's history. You'll be fine. It's our whole show. I have to tell you. It's my whole half of the show. And I already told you this. The deep state was created around the same time as JFK. Mm-hmm. So you have the FBI and the CIA who worked together to cover up the assassination, to create the assassination. There are so many points when you look at the JFK assassination, you know, who did it, who had something to gain from it besides, you know, Herbert Hoover and Lyndon B. Johnson, who was as corrupt as all get out. I mean, he ran his congressional races in Texas and was paying off a local district to give him more votes. I mean, this guy was just power hungry. So then you had the mafia, the Chicago mafia, who lost. I mean, the mafia. They say that the FBI, you know, shut down the mafia. No, the mafia shut down because Cuba shut them down. Right. They were bringing in their millions because they were running sex trafficking and casinos down in, you know, drugs. Havana and Cuba. So with that shut down, that's kind of how the mafia really shut down. And then you have, and then like most of this book that our friends,
we call him Uncle Barry,
our Uncle Barry now, has written, and I'm gonna bring it up so you guys can see it. Treasonous Cabal.
I'll go get it.
Is the 3/4 of about the sheep dipping?
Bring it down?
I did. I have it here somewhere. The sheep dipping of Lee Harvey Oswald, and you know, even the
what does sheep dipping mean? Just for those that may not know.
Well, it means to set somebody up as a patsy
to mark a sheep.
Yeah, but basically they set him up.
Yep.
And he,
so that when you see a herd of animals, of sheep, the one that's been marked, you can easily identify.
There you go. And so he was set up, and he was the fall guy. And obviously, you know, there's a reason why the grassy knoll has become a symbol of, you know, conspiracy, but it's not a theory, it's a fact.
Right.
That later on they had to do a congressional investigation, a second one into the shooting deaths of JFK, because nobody believed that there's such a thing as a magic bullet that could create 7 wounds and spin
one bullet
and turn in midair twice, and then end
up.
You
mean the American public didn't buy that one?
So there had to be, and so there was a camera footage that later came out that had to be sued. The Time magazine got it from the guy who, and I have all the names written down, the guy who was filming from the grassy knoll. Time magazine bought it, and then somebody investigating something else had to get the rights to it, and then now we have it. And if you want to know if Dan Rather's been corrupt from the beginning, he said, oh, we saw his head go forward, where actually they had to come back and say, oh, we got that wrong. His head went back because the grassy knoll was in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the library building was behind, so you know, the whole two shooters thing is not just a plausibility, it's the only answer. Because he was, and then the original photos, you can see them side by side, that the coroner had of JFK showed his brain kind of together, but witnesses said that his brain was, you know, exploded, which would have meant it was behind something through the head first and then out big.
Yeah.
And then there was a second picture, you can see his brains exploded. I don't know how many times I was JFK's brains in my head over and over again. I now have the full picture in my head of his brains. But when you look at how the CIA had Lee Harvey Oswald under their wing, sending him over to Russia, bringing him back, where after he defected to Russia, and these are bullet points for if you're a conspiracy theorist, you know all these things.
Right.
I had not studied JFK. It's just, I mean, oh my gosh, you're a conspiracy theorist and you haven't really studied JFK. No, really haven't. But I've studied the deep state in other ways, but not necessarily the whole kit and caboodle of the JFK conspiracy theory, which is mostly fact, but how you put those facts together is still a theory. But you do know that the Texas coroners didn't get to examine the body. He was whisked away on Air Force One, and his body was underwent an examination by 3 top military brass who weren't professional coroners, who weren't able to identify. I mean, they just messed. They covered it. It was all a huge cover up.
Right.
And so when you see the FBI and the CIA working so hard to, I know, it just I had it in my hand. No, it was on the couch. It was down. I didn't take it up.
Oh.
It's underneath the hat.
Underneath the hat. I hit it. Well, I just wanted to show them the book and to get them excited that Uncle Barry is going to be on our show. I wanted to have him on for tonight so that we could have it on the anniversary, but we've been busy. So this is the book that I want you guys to all read. Put my bookmark upside down.
Oops,
So we were having a competition actually reading it. Lee and I were with our different bookmarks. So
I think I definitely
you can
won.
beat me because you were slacking off around here, being lazy, sitting around reading while I was slaving like Cinderella.
I'm sure that's what happened.
It's exactly what happened.
No, it was awesome. It's a fantastic book, but what just was shocking to me was not shocking that the same FBI that went after JFK and covered up, and then you had a period of like assassination nation. Bobby Kennedy assassinated, JFK, Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated. So much that the people were wondering what's with all the assassinations, and Congress had to have a literal committee on assassinations. And we know from the vault, from the JFK vault, that Martin Luther King Jr. was sent a letter from the FBI saying, go kill yourself.
Right. Or was it the CIA?
That was the FBI. That was the FBI. And we know that the CIA, and then they don't have time to go into making of cancer weapons.
That's one of the things I do want Uncle Barry to talk about on our show when he comes on. Is that, because that's really, really fascinating, and I think you should probably leave that to the expert.
And what I love about Uncle Barry's book, man, are the documents and the pictures.
Yeah, he cites everything. You can't really see that very well on
Well,
here,
that one is Lee Harvey Oswald's body post-autopsy. Remember? You can't loose lips sink ships, but dead men don't talk. And here, Jack Ruby. Now, this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing.
Let me do it.
We know that the mafia was in with the CIA and the FBI. Why in the world would a guy, Jack Ruby, known mafia guy, why in the world would he go up and shoot Lee Harvey Oswald point blank, knowing that they are going to knowing that he'll go straight to jail.
I know.
Unless they had something crazy on him. It's all connected.
It
So
is.
anyways, we need to shut down the ABC alphabets. The CIA has not done any. Name one thing that the CIA has done that's good.
Well, a lot of movies have been made about them that are fascinating since then, like, just different conspiracy type movies. And I think that that's really fascinating.
The CIA has not done one thing good for our country. They literally is a government agency created by bureaucrats who want to kill people and take over government.
So we're going to get into this later in the show, or is this going to be your segment on it?
Kind of my segment, I guess.
Okay, so this is your segment because you wanted to start out with singing.
I did, but then I
know it's too exciting.
But then it's all flowing together. And the reason I did, my brain goes in like 500 different levels.
You're like Kanye.
I get a stream of consciousness, but even my consciousness doesn't flow like his. I've been reading the JFK book. Mm-hmm. It lines up perfectly with what the FBI we know is doing to Donald Trump.
Attempting.
Our show is going to kind of go backwards.
Right.
Okay. No, they're doing it.
Good. Yeah.
They literally are doing it. And
I'm trying to make the door open for hope at the end. Yes, they are doing it. You're 100% correct. What I mean is Kennedy died. Trump is not.
Okay, so that's not where I was going. The big parts came in not only just during the assassination, but after the assassination and the cover up on purpose and lying to the American people over and over again. And like once you're in the CIA, you can't get out because they've done too much. They've done too much.
And you know all of their secrets. That's why you can't get out of the gang.
There's like connected to in the investigations of the assassinations, there's like 108 people that commit, died, and then over 85% of them died with suicide behind the left ear. That's a thing. That's one of the he lists all the different crazy deaths.
Right.
Chopped to death by an axe. I mean, just getting hit by a random truck. I mean, and the CIA specializes, though, in trying to make deaths look accidental or on purpose or natural causes.
Right.
That's where the cancer gun came through, and the cancer weapon was created to go down. The CIA is no good at anything. I may have gotten behind them taking out Castro. The one person who's literally a stone's throw away from our country, they couldn't take out Fidel Castro. They are horribly inept or purposefully inept at their jobs.
Purposefully inept.
Okay, and the mafia tried to get JFK in because hoping JFK would be able to get Cuba back by taking out Castro. This was not in any way for the Cubans to overthrow communism.
So who killed Kennedy? And it's the answer isn't obviously Lee Harvey Oswald, but like who was behind it? You've got the mob, the mafia, because like Leah just said, they actually wanted JFK in on it. You've got LBJ, who wanted to be president and hated having to line up with become VP,
in the shadow
second
of
seat
JFK.
there. And then you've got, of course, the deep state, who doesn't like that Kennedy is kind of
thwarting their
plans.
I mean, and the big thing was the Bay of Pigs was a huge debacle, and the CIA they were going to overthrow Castro, and then at the very last minute, JFK pulls out, and they were mad. Right? And then there's the video, which we probably should play, where JFK says, you guys know there's like this deep state, there's this treasonous cabal, there's this underground group of people who are controlling everything. Do you know this? And then he gets shot, and then he's killed.
Right.
And that is why, as soon as Donald Trump was elected, that's why we're going to cover the Ukraine. Did you know that the Ukraine, how much money is in the world? How much money in these countries that there are lots of... How do I say this? I have a list of all the countries who donated to the Clinton Foundation. I'm going to give you one guess as to the country that donated the most to the Clinton Foundation. I'm going to tell you what it was. Ukraine.
You didn't even let me guess.
No, I know. Ukraine is it's like a hyperlink of corruption. It's a seed. It's a bed of corruption. Mm-hmm. And we don't think much about the Ukraine. So what the Democrats have done is they know that when Donald Trump was elected, that the promise to drain the swamp They were afraid of that, so they knew they had to go
on
the. I don't know if that's the one where he says. No, I don't think so, because he says that there's a deep state speech. I don't know.
Go ahead, keep talking.
And so we have what's happening here with this whole Ukrainian thing is they're playing their hands. They're saying we're corrupt. We have our hands in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you might have to duck go it because sometimes they're not on the. You know what I mean? Sometimes the deep state covers them. So I have a lot to cover. But I wanted to bring you guys, and I know we do this backwards. If you guys are into the Christian thing, you're not into the singing, then you can come back in about 20 minutes. But I wanted to start out with hope, I guess. And usually after you guys ask for a song at the end, but we've gone through so much news and we're kind of like mentally drained that it's hard to pick it up and praise God. So I'm hoping that by going backwards, we can cover the news through the light and the lens of Jesus Christ. So this week, Kanye West, last Sunday, he did a Joel Osteen service. And secret societies, that's it.
It's 20 minutes long. So
I wish you could just find the one spot.
Go to it.
Well, now you know what to Google. The secret society. Maybe do a smaller.
No. This
clip.
is it. That's the only one that's coming up.
Oh, well, poop. All right.
And
that's okay. He said there's a.
Hang on, this might be it. I can go to it. Hang on.
Okay.
Wait, I've got noise coming on here anyway. Wait a minute.
I got noise. We got noise. Okay, we make lamb. We say that all the time. It's a line from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's hilarious. Okay, we make lamb.
Oops, that's not what I wanted.
Who am I? Okay.
Today, no war has been declared. And however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger. And yet no war has been declared. No borders have been crossed by marching troops. No missiles have been fired. If the press is awaiting a declaration of war, before it imposes the self-discipline of combat conditions, then I can only say that no war ever posed a greater threat to our security. If you are awaiting a finding of clear and present danger, then I can only say that the danger has never been more clear, and its presence has never been more imminent. It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions by the government, by the people, by every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match.
There's actually more to that deep state speech, but you get the idea. That's why JFK was assassinated.
Right.
Okay? He got too close. His dad was very corrupt, and he knew, like Donald Trump, he saw the corruption up close. You know, you had Frank Sinatra even in on it. I mean, there's a lot of corruption.
Getting him elected.
Yeah, well, and then also getting messages back and forth. He was in on the corruption.
Right.
And, excuse me, I have to take my shoes off. I know, it's my show. I can take them off. All right. Now I need something to make me higher.
That's right. I'll take my shoes off too, and then I'll come down a notch there.
But God is bigger, and there is an even deeper state, and it's the Christian state. And you can know what God is going to do. You can know what the enemy is going to do, and you can thwart the enemy by getting into the power of God and getting into the presence of God. And I want to make a little note here. Make sure that your inner circle doesn't have any enemies in it, because that's what got JFK killed. Mm-hmm. His inner circle, he was too close to all of the enemies. Yep. His heart and his life was too open to the bad guys. And he did not have the power of God to surround him. And he didn't have people praying for him like Donald Trump has people praying for him. Yeah. And Donald Trump he didn't get elected by the deep state. JFK was elected by the deep state. His dad is the deep state, right? And so make sure that your inner circle is following God and has your best interest at heart.
That's really good.
Because you can allow the enemy in not even knowing it. Okay? Not even knowing it. The enemy can't touch you unless you let him in, if you are surrounded by the power of God. So the biggest trick that the enemy thought he could do, who was Judas? Judas was in the inner 12. Satan wants to get in, and obviously it's a plan of God, right? Mm-hmm. But Satan wants to get in your inner circle. That's a word for somebody today. I don't do this very often. That's a word for somebody. Okay. Satan wants to get into your inner circle, and there are people in your life that he's trying to manipulate to get into your inner circle, to speak into your life, so that you're distracted from the plan of God for your life. So you're distracted from the victory that God had. And you can know this. If you're talking positive news and you're talking about Jesus and they're not with you, put them outside of your inner circle. Yeah. Doesn't mean you have to kick them out of your life.
Right.
Don't put them into your inner circle. Your inner circle speaks into you. Don't allow people into you to speak into you. JFK allowed different people to speak into him, taking advice from all these people.
But it's really plain and simple, so it doesn't even have to be a word from the Lord, because we see it happen to Trump. Every single person in his life that is in his inner circle, that's where the weakness, the enemy is able to get right behind that armor, because it's an open spot.
All these people in the State Department worked under Trump that testified against him.
Under Obama.
But they're working for Trump right now.
Right.
And I keep tweeting out, Trump, fire everyone. Hold open interviews and rehire people. Look at their social media. Have they taken social media bullets for you? Have they been supporting you for the last 2 years? Only then can you be hired.
Right.
Okay? Only then. You've got to be mega or you don't get in. And I mean fire everybody. I mean, this thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Right. Our government literally is going to save a ton of money for a short time. Ambassadors, State Department, secretaries of state, all these people, everybody, fire everyone.
Get them all gone.
We're literally taking the next year to hire all new mega people, and hire the best mega people you could find. And so, like, all of Twitter is going to go work for the White House, because that's where you're going to find them. Right. And so this is my idea, Trump. You've got to have people in your inner circle who have your vision, who have the vision. He doesn't have to agree with you on everything, but have the vision. They want you to succeed.
I don't think a single person should be in the White House or on the staff or working for a staffer.
Like Eric Charmella?
Yeah, unless they're a mega person. I mean, this has to go all the way down the line.
All these never Trumpers being broad.
Trump is great at saying you're fired, says Jim West. You got that right.
That's what I thought. I mean, that's totally an anointing that he has.
You're fired.
He just feels power when he'll find some guys. And what he needs to do is, I know he can't do it. He needs to get people like a Charlie Kirk or Candace Owens or Rand Paul. Okay, people that you know that you can trust. And you're like, help me fill these positions.
Sure.
You vet these people. for me because I can't vet thousands and thousands and
Right.
thousands of people. But the problem is that for all of time, the people in positions, 99% of them are bad.
Yeah.
But supposedly you have to have people of experience in those positions. Their only experience is corruption, especially in the Ukraine. They never did anything about this corruption in the Ukraine. They're on the take.
It's
They're
better
on the
to
money
have
train.
no help than anti-help.
Exactly.
People that are trying to subvert you
Exactly.
in everything that you're doing.
Exactly. I mean, I even say I don't trust Steve Bannon as far as I can throw him, but have Steve Bannon come in and hire people. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. Okay, so we're going to sing some songs.
Sing song, sing song.
But what I want to do is I want to play this because back to Kanye West. Kanye West did a Sunday service at Joel Osteen's church.
You want me to play part of that?
You can.
Well,
That's
it's up
part
to
of
you.
the
How
news.
much show you-
Yeah, if
how
you
much
got,
time
do you have a
you've
clip?
got?
I got
Yeah.
a time. It's my show. It's your show. We can do this. This is
Okay.
what people want. It's part of the news this week,
Joel Osteen had Kanye West come and do a Sunday service in the evening last Sunday.
which was amazing.
It was 3 hours long. You can watch it on Joel Osteen's channel. Now, as a disclaimer, Lee and I are not Joel Osteen fans at all. Now,
That's an understatement.
Joel had Kanye and his family come to service on Sunday morning and had Kanye come up and he spoke with him for about 20 minutes.
But you're going to play just a little bit of it.
I'm just going to play something that we can find here that's worthy of sharing.
Hey everybody, come on, let's welcome Mr. Kanye West today.
Here too.
Manager says, how much traffic do we have? So if it's a
That
man
was his
that's
comment
going
on
through
sex
things
trafficking
with his
was like,
family or
wow,
going
here.
through, in this studio, it's going to compare to places that you're in life where people tell you to quiet your voice and not talk about Jesus, so loud, but everything else is so loud around us. When I'm in California or when I'm in Vegas, they got posters up advertising, sex trafficking. Because if there's an advertisement for a strip club, that is advertising sex trafficking, because at the end of the night, when they close up, the manager says, how much traffic do we have? So if it's a man that's going through things with his family or going through things at work and he feels he has to go there, we all end up participating, whether it's the spirits that get advertised to us all the time. Alcohol they call it a spirit. So we get constant advertisement for spirits. We get constant advertisement for strip clubs and other things like that. But then we bring up the name of Jesus, we're told to be quiet, quiet that down. So even for someone who's professing God and saying, this is going to be a gospel album, the devil's going to come and do everything he can to distract people from knowing how to fully be in service to the Lord. And all of that arrogance and confidence and cockiness that y'all seen me use before, God is now using for him. Is going to change. Jesus has won the victory. Because now I told you about my arrogance and cockiness already. Now, the greatest artist that God has ever created is now working for him.
Not too far.
And esteem, so responsibility for me to become more like my mother who's gone to heaven, and more like my father who's working and building a water purification center in the DR. With rappers, there's so many things that we've done where to maintain the idea of coolness. We have our own daughters and we'll still be rapping about trying to hook up with somebody's daughter.
Yep.
Like not taking the responsibility as a man. That's why I say the song Closed on Sunday is the hardest record ever made. It's hard as the NWA record, because it's talking about protecting your kids from the indoctrination of the media, the thousands and thousands of images that are fed to children by the age of 6 or 7. And within those images, there are images mixed in that we don't know about as parents, that are purposely mixed in to lower the kids' superpower and esteem so that they can be more susceptible to consumption and feel that they need to consume and become a part of the robotic numeric system that controls so much of the media. I just had to say it like this. You can rewind it and then do.
Okay.
You could watch the whole
that's
thing.
literally the red pill movement. That's the moment I wanted to get to you guys. That's the moment even Paul Joseph Watson wrote a whole article about it, talking about the producers and everybody who have and the media and Hollywood. They've put in, and I'm sure he's been watching like Disney, pedophile stuff. You know what I mean? Like once you get red pilled.
Yep.
We talk about the red pill and then the black pill and the white pill, and he's been white pilled. So I wanted to give you a visual because this is the visual that the Lord gave me today. I don't know if you guys have heard about the endochroma glasses, and you have like millions and millions of views of colorblind people, which there's millions of in the country, like different in the
different levels and
in
stuff.
the world. Some people can just see black and white. Some people can just see just dull colors. And what happens when Kanye West says when you're asleep and then you're awake, that's the difference. I love this visual because you can see the people. Like it's actually when the world is in black and white, and when you come to know Jesus and you begin to see like all the red pilled stuff, everything's in color, and that's so much different than just being red pilled. That's literally seeing life and seeing hope around every corner. So now you're going to be so much more appreciative. So I'm going to play a couple of these behind me of these people getting these glasses who have been colorblind. Let's turn this back on here.
Chris.
Huh?
What?
Oh my God.
Look at the balloons.
They give these people these colored balloons. It's awesome!
I gotta make sure you guys can see that.
Maybe they can't see it very well.
Well, that's all right.
Oh my God.
They get the
This is
idea.
crazy.
Walk out there in the light.
Look at my pants. Blue jeans, right?
Look at the trees, he said.
That's incredible. Surprise! New sunglasses. Special sunglasses for Daddy. So you
Move
can
your
see
cursor off that
flowers.
way.
Tell your mom.
So I'm already like ready to cry anyway.
Look at the flowers. Show them your flowers. Hey guys, give your daddy a hug.
So make sure we don't get our clothes wet.
I love you. I'm guessing they're working.
I think they're
And then this guy, this one was harder to see, but he gets really emotional too.
So cool. I kind of want it. Do they work? Are they working, honey?
Yep.
He's like, where's my food?
Oh.
This guy sees his girlfriend's red hair for the first time.
This what?
There's like red hair.
Oh.
She's like, go look at other things. Go look at the other things.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, look at other things.
So he goes up and looks at the flowers.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
Is it like these buds? Yeah.
She was describing red, and he's like, is it like these buds?
Oh my gosh. Are they working? Oh my god.
And then their family members are start to cry.
I know.
Because they're seeing in color.
Exactly.
Because they're seeing what they've
Right.
always seen.
Right.
And this is the essence of Christianity for me, guys.
Right.
When you have a family member or a friend who comes to know Jesus and their
Yeah.
eyes are opened, look, and Mom's like, you can see what I have been able to see. I've wanted you to see this your entire life. You know?
Oh, I can really see them now. Can you? I could not see those at all. Wow, there they are. Oh my god.
That's so
Okay,
awesome.
so I want to start singing a little bit. I'm going to cancel my printing there. And so when you're lost and then you're found, when you're asleep and then you're awake, when you're colorblind and you see color,
Right.
And so what the vision that we have been given, and we're going to cover news. We have a whole another hour after 7 to 8. We can do the news because there's a lot of good news, a lot of bad news that we're going to turn around to be good. That's what we're seeing is an awakening. And kind of revival has been a little bit overused.
Right.
Awakening is such a better term, isn't it?
Well, but the reason why I'm going with revival is because that's what God told Serge, and I like it.
Okay, well,
We can do both, though. It's a revival, and then it's an awakening.
I
It depends on
wasn't
what
even
you're talking
thinking
about.
that. I was just talking about
No,
it.
I know. I'm just saying. I love it. It's an
The
awakening.
The awakening is the one, is the word I was given. It's
Yeah.
the same word for everybody. It's a different word for everybody. Awakening. Darkness to light.
Well,
Sleep
because
to
that's
awake.
what Kanye had said when he was talking to James Corden, and James said, for the haters, for those that
Yeah.
are saying this isn't really real, this isn't, what do you say to them? And his response was, well, you know when you're asleep that you're asleep, and when you're awake, you're awake. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, I was asleep, and now I'm awake.
I guess I grew up in a Pentecostal church. And not grew up, but it was a lot of, and revival to me is an overused word. It just means people singing and dancing.
Right.
Awakening is when people wake up to the truth. Right?
Well, obviously, to revive somebody is to bring them back from death. So
Yeah.
it is a powerful word too. So it depends on what you're trying to talk about. I mean, these people are walking. They're walking, sleeping.
Right.
They're sleepwalking. So yes, awakening is very fitting.
Well, growing up in the 90s and the 2000s.
Oh, I know, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. For me, I don't like the word revival. I can't
Right.
use it because
Right.
revival was just a place where you went to sing a bunch of songs
Right.
and people got slain in the spirit. Right?
well,
But there was a great awakening. There's something to that.
Sure.
You know? I remember people praying for revival, and then it was just really a bunch of great singing. You know? Just a happy singing time.
Yep.
Happy singing time. No, we want people to be awakened to the truth.
Yep.
And if the word revival means something better to you, then you by all means use that one.
All right, let me get the lyrics up here.
Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free. Oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Free at last, he tell you what, we're going to play one more. We're doing some news, and then maybe 2 more at the end of the show. We'll see how it works out.
Okay.
All right, because we want to bring the fire. All right? So if you guys have a chance to watch Serge's testimony on Chasing Mary.
How do I get rid of this ad? I can't.
I don't know.
Wow, this page has a ton of ads.
Try a different one. There's more. There's way more. Serge's testimony on Chasing Mary, Finding Jesus is one of the most powerful testimonies, one of the most powerful shows we've ever done. And at the end, we talked about, I just read in Jeremiah how God says, if you were really a prophet of me, you would know that my words are like fire and like a hammer.
This is not the right song.
Third Day. Yeah,
I know. I've got Third Day in there. I thought. No, I don't.
So, this is a song from my youth when there wasn't very many good Christian songs. And I would play this song over and over and over again. And this is kind of to set the stage.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait for trying clothes.
Third Day, consuming fire. Here we go. That's what we need. Jesus to come. His power. Set this place on fire. Send your spirit, Savior. Rescue from the Maia. Show your servant favor. Yesterday was a day that I was alone. Now I'm in the presence of Almighty God. Yes, I got. He is a consuming fire and the flames burn down deep in my soul. Yes, I got. He is a consuming fire and he reaches inside and he melts down this cold heart of stone. He's a fire. Set this place on fire. Send your spirit, Savior. Rescue from the fire. Show your servant favor. Yesterday was a day that I was alone. Now I'm in the presence of Almighty God. Yes, I got. He is a consuming fire and the flames burn down deep in my soul. Yes, I got. He is a consuming fire and he reaches inside and he melts down this cold heart of stone. Oh, he is a fire. He is a fire. Did you realize that inside of you there is a flame? Did you ever try to let it burn? Let it burn, let it burn. Yes, I got. He is a consuming fire and the flames burn down deep in my soul. Yes, I got. He is a consuming fire and he reaches inside and he melts down this cold heart of stone. He is a fire. He is a fire. He is a fire. Send your spirit, Savior. a consuming fire, and the flames burn down deep in my soul. Yes, our God, He is a consuming fire, and He reaches inside and He melts down this cold heart of stone. He's a fire. He is a fire. He's a fire. All right. We don't have a name for this guitar. I feel like she should have a name. He or she should have a name. It's just the Montana Gold. Hand me the gold. Hand over the gold.
Hand over the gold.
Okay. I'm ready to keep going. I feel the anointing all over me right now. I don't want to stop. Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because He has anointed me to preach the gospel to you and bring the truth to you. So that's what we gonna do. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right.
Where else can you go
I can't help sometimes sounding like a Pentecostal
news
preacher.
and church all in one fell swoop?
I think
Nowhere.
I am thinking that it's better for me on Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
That makes sense, but okay.
It don't make no sense, girlfriend, but the video not playing.
Oops, sorry.
There they
This
go.
is why I spend forever getting the camera set up before we go live, so that I don't have to do it in the middle of the show. Okay, there we go.
I gotta go. Connect to the Wi-Fi, man.
Okay. Or it could just be that the internet's going slow. It's been kind of choppy all around today.
Hey, reload the page one more time. Alrighty, Jimmy Dornan. I want to bring you Jimmy Dornan just to sum up the facts on the Trump side after the week of public impeachment hearings. I want to sum it up and go backwards so you guys can know the craziness going on. There's a new Republican star. Her name is Stefanik. Elisa Stefanik, and the Dems are so upset they have tried to trend on Twitter.
Whether you're on Wi-Fi or not.
Cancel Elise. That's because I'm still not on the Wi-Fi. I am not connected. Let's try again.
Okay.
Here we go. They got to connect to the
shoes back
Wi-Fi. Connect to the Wi-Fi. All right, we're going to go to this article here why my Wi-Fi is connecting. How Republicans won phase one of impeachment. Round one. Ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
The first phase of impeachment did not go well for Democrats. Indeed, it needed to be a time when support for the inquiry impeachment grew. Instead, it shrank. And if you look at the recent poll numbers, America is actually, for the first time, polls have showed Trump beating everybody.
It's great.
This is where they bring the stank.
You got the good news.
They got the good news. The pit that they dig for you, they have fallen in themselves. It's like watching them just, it's literally you're trying to keep them from shooting themselves in the foot, because there's one thing about us mega type people, I do believe, and I can speak for most of us.
Okay.
We want a fair fight.
Yeah.
We don't like watching anybody fighting with a hand tied about their back, even Joe Biden, because you know what? They tie their own hands, and it's funny watching them. You know, the Democrats have tied their own hands. They've done, and you know what? We're going to need it, because they've got them voting machines all rigged. Two elections.
They do.
Kentucky governorship. Oh, everybody down the list. Republican Attorney General, Republican. And then suddenly they want a governor, a Democrat governor. That doesn't make sense.
Everybody votes down the line, man. That's how people vote.
All right. With the likely conclusion of Representative Adam Schiff's impeachment proceedings, it's worth taking a step back and looking at how things went for the majority Democrats and the minority Republicans. I want you guys to see the people that Adam Schiff had.
Shifty shift. That's what Trump calls him.
Here's so hard to follow. If you guys can follow, you don't even really need to know all these details. Supposedly there was a whistleblower. His name is Eric Charmella. He overheard something. And then there's this list of people. This guy Taylor, Yovanovitch, Kent, Hill, Sondland, Volker, Vindman, Williams, Morris, Cooper, Hill.
Nada.
Didn't witness anything. No quid pro quo. Nothing. Nothing.
Quid pro quo,
Not
nothing,
one of
nothing.
them could say definitively that they saw a quid pro quo, which is what this whole thing was about.
Right.
Supposedly
No
holding
quid,
up
no pro, no quo.
holding up money from the Ukraine. And here's the
Now, there was the one dude, Sondland.
he witnessed nothing.
He witnessed nothing.
He saw nothing. I know
but
nothing.
he
I
is
see nothing.
convinced that everybody just knew.
That everybody just knew. All right, so Democrats ideally would have started their inquiry with credible bipartisan support and run things in such a way that public opinion developed in their favor. Public opinion would build pressure on Republican members towards an impeachment vote that had even stronger bipartisan credibility. That did not even come close to happening to begin with. Not only was the vote to begin proceedings not bipartisan, there was bipartisan opposition to it, meaning some Democrats voted against the proceedings.
Exactly.
Polling initially looked promising for impeachment, with many media outlets attempting to claim significant bipartisan support for inquiry and removal, but then the polling moved in the wrong direction for Democrats. Emerson polling showed the support for impeachment flipped since October. From 48% support with 44 opposing to now 45% opposed and 43 in support. Among key independents, the switch was even more pronounced. In October, 48% supported impeaching Donald Trump with 39% opposed. Now 49% of independents oppose impeachment with only 34% supporting it. Truth. Shining the truth. What the Democrats have done, what big tech has censored us to do, big tech, the Democrats have done for us.
Sure.
They paraded out. See, what we used to do before the censorship was the Democrats would come out with a talking point and we would share it all over social media and people would see it. Well, now they shut all of us down and we can't share and it doesn't go anywhere. So the Democrats come out and they do it for us. So I don't know whether to thank them or just to step out of the way and be like, whatever.
What, though? It reminds me of the scripture where it says that God paraded him about and made a show of him openly.
Now,
they have paraded themselves about, making a show of themselves openly.
Without Devin Nunes and Elise Stefanik and Jim Jordan, it wouldn't have gone as well because they're shining the light on the lies. But
they're like
still,
dogs with a bone.
A new Gallup poll shows that Trump's approval has ticked up 2 points since the impeachment drama began, with 50% of Americans opposed to it and 48% in support. Henry Olsen notes that Gallup polls all adults, not just registered voters, meaning that the poll of registered voters would have Trump's job approval even higher and impeachment opposed closer to 52-48. And not only are no Republicans expected to join with Democrats in an eventual impeachment vote, some members expect the bipartisan consensus against it to grow. Republicans, by contrast, needed to aim for bipartisan opposition to the impeachment proceedings, keep their members in line, make the case that impeachment proceedings lack fairness, and that concern about Ukrainian corruption was legitimate. They managed to do all of that. Here's why things went well for the Republicans in phase one of the impeachment. I'm going to give you videos, hopefully, as my computer decides to kick it into gear.
Is it really just phase one, though? Like, what's left?
It was completely unclear. This was supposedly the hearings, and then I guess they can go to a vote. But the Republicans actually found. Now, I'm going to see that. Hopefully, this will come about. The minority leader in the House found a little rule that says that on the last day, that the minority can call whoever they want. See,
no way.
Schiff has been blocking who the minority is wanting to bring forward. There's one little rule: they get 1 day to call their own witnesses. So we're going to see where that goes. I know.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Before we get to the politics of how they were played, this is from Molly Hemingway. Thank her for this article. Played by the Republicans and Democrats, it should be noted that President Donald Trump has not been credibly accused of committing any crime, much less a high crime or a misdemeanor. It's almost shocking that Trump, of all people, keeps managing to do well on this score. Yet, as with the Russian collusion hoax, in which he was accused of being a traitor to his country, the lack of evidence for the charges against him is his ultimate saving grace. What the charge is just keeps changing, of course.
Wait, can I interrupt there right there?
Yeah.
She says the lack of evidence is his saving grace.
Yeah.
That kind of infers, and I understand that she's, writing this sympathetically, but it kind of infers that there is evidence, it just hasn't shown up. The lack of evidence being his saving grace is because there is no evidence. Because he didn't do anything. Carry on.
So the whistleblower initially suggested a campaign finance violation arising from a call with Trump. with the president of Ukraine. That morphed into a quid pro quo for military aid to Ukraine, then extortion, then bribery, then obstruction of justice, then back to a quid pro quo, but this time only a quid pro quo for a White House meeting.
Now, if you do this, you get to be first up on the Ukraine tour to the White House, buddy. All you got to do is investigate my political opponent, put your neck on the line, do what I say, and then you get your own expense paid trip to the White House to visit me and talk to me. Now, how does that sound?
So the hearings were very boring and
They
very
were
complicated.
awful. Unless Jim Jordan and Stefanik were speaking.
They were soul-crushingly boring. The testimony was lengthy. The discussion was complicated and bureaucratic. The questions weren't particularly interesting, and the answers they elicited weren't particularly compelling. They were just boring. Media outlets did all they could to bolster Schiff's show and ran the impeachment hearings nonstop. I was so frustrated because I couldn't even watch Tucker Carlson because they ran that into his show a couple times.
Tucker.
Democrats didn't want Jerry Nadler chairing the impeachment since he had so completely botched the initial impeachment effort. That was the Robert Mueller probe. And he
didn't botch it. It wasn't there to actually go anywhere. You can't mess up something that's non-existent. Carry on.
Exactly. Having Robert Mueller be a testify actually was not a very good idea. And the confused Mueller destroyed the chance of convincing the country that he had run the probe that bore his name and had morphed into an attempt to nail Trump for vehemently fighting the false charge that he was a traitor. So Schiff had run the Democrats' efforts in the Russia conspiracy theory that peddled on for several years. During this time, his team leaked like sieves to compliant media such as CNN. So what I'm going to play here is actually first... Go ahead.
In the recipe for the Buskin cookies, the secret ingredient is macaroon paste.
Oh.
I need macaroon paste.
Oh.
Sorry, it just came to me and I had to tell you while I remembered. Macaroon paste.
Okay, are you ready?
For a
so
sugar butter
before you
cookie.
guys go and you see, here we have the media talking about bombshells and bombshells and bombshells.
Bombshell today.
Wait.
Bombshells. I don't particularly care for the nickname Shelly. I'll just tell you. I don't anybody that take offense to if you've ever called me that. It's fine. I don't care for it. However, I think that I could be a bombshell. Like you could call me bombshell, not like beautiful, but I mean like breaking news, like this bombshell, explosive.
Promises to be another explosive week in the impeachment inquiry.
We're bracing for potentially an explosive opening statement.
Those are some of the fireworks from today's explosive testimony. Another explosive day of testimony.
Explosive.
Heading into a potentially explosive week of testimony.
The most explosive thing.
This is a slow motion explosion.
Major breaking news.
Slow motion. Wait, stop. Slow motion explosion. In physics,
That is
it's a
an
non-existent
oxymoron.
thing. Okay,
That's an oxymoron.
There is no slow motion explosion without the effects from cameras and television recording and faking news.
My joke is always
This is the slow motion explosion.
like military intelligence. That's my
yeah,
joke.
that's funny. That's really funny.
The explosive, truly explosive opening remarks. I can't emphasize how explosive this is. How explosive, very explosive.
And I think it will be
How explosive, Michelle?
Very explosive. Very slow motion explosive.
explosive.
Wow. The first day of public testimony in the impeachment inquiry, opening with a bombshell.
We got the bombshell. Yesterday was a bombshell.
This has to be one of those bombshell days.
A bombshell, and it was bombshell testimony. Bombshells.
One bombshell after another.
Bombshell after bombshell.
Stunning testimony.
The stunning conversation he heard, it was stunning. It was historic.
Like it started small, and now everyone's running, screaming no, like apocalypse clips now.
That was an oh-you-know-what moment for Republicans. Now, a few hours later, from the bombshell being detonated.
The fuse was lit then. The bomb went off.
Mom, that's
today,
not just, that's not the focus. That's just the internet.
Oh, that stinks.
We're having bad internet right today. I don't know why, but we are.
I wonder if we should switch to Spectrum.
There's been a bombshell.
Well, this is the first time it's been like this.
Nearly every witness has delivered some sort of bombshell.
Here's the other bombshell today. Fiona Hill, I mean, that was, I know we keep saying bombshell, but it is Fiona Hill who is the bomb.
She's going to drop a bombshell. The bombshell.
Bombshell.
Following breaking news as another round of explosive impeachment testimony.
The most explosive information that we have to date.
Switch over, it might drop.
So explosive.
There was a big bombshell. Obviously, this is a bombshell. This is a bombshell. Bombshell.
Bombshell?
Bombshell, obviously. What do you think, Paul?
It's certainly a bombshell.
So we have these things that keep getting called bombshells.
It's a very explosive charge.
I don't think we can overemphasize. This could be very, very explosive.
We're clear on Facebook.
That covers it.
Oh, so it's YouTube.
That covers everything.
I'm going to reconnect back to my thing then. Pause right there, because I don't want to get away from that. But, Mom, it's clear on Facebook, so it has nothing to do with anything other
YouTube is censoring us, so we're fuzzy on YouTube.
Right. We're also clear on Periscope.
YouTube.
So, but we are fuzzy on YouTube, so I don't know what to do about that.
I wonder if there's a way to fix that.
I have no idea. But, okay, so while we're watching this, I see they keep using the word like stunning, which you can see that the talking point gets disseminated to all the news, the fake news media. But it was stunning. It was stunning that there was nothing.
That's true.
Absolutely nothing. The bombshell was that there was nothing.
Yeah.
So yes, there was, your whole efforts exploded in your face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I think you've got that nailed down. Let's see if Jimmy baby will come up here. Jimmy. Fox News clip won't play.
Can you close it out and bring it back up?
I did like 5 times.
No.
Yeah, I did. I kept refreshing it.
That's really frustrating.
We'll try over here. We'll try to bring it up, but that's okay. I've got more. I think I have more clips that will.
But I don't have any problem with any of you that want to switch over to Facebook to watch it live. Watch us live there, just because, just so it's clear and crisp. You're more than welcome.
Okay, so let me start with some of these clips from this week. This is Devin Nunes, the low-rent Ukrainian sequel to the Russian probe.
To Act 2 of today's circus, ladies and gentlemen, no witnesses have identified any crime or impeachable offense committed by the president, but that doesn't matter. Last week, the Democrats told us his infraction was asking for a quid pro quo. This week, it's bribery. Who knows what ridiculous crime they'll be accusing him of next week. What we will witness today is a televised theatrical performance staged by the Democrats. Ambassador Taylor,
very
and Mr.
bad
Kent,
one, like a
I'd like
high
to welcome
musical.
you here. I'd like to congratulate you for passing the Democrats' Star Chamber auditions held for the last weeks in the basement of the Capitol. It seems you agreed, witting or unwittingly, to participate in a drama. But the main performance, the Russia hoax, has ended, and you've been cast in the low-rent Ukrainian sequel. So what exactly are the Democrats impeaching the president for? None of us here really know, because the accusations change by the hour. This spectacle is doing great damage to our country. It's nothing more than an impeachment process in search of a crime. As I mentioned, Chairman of this committee claims that democracy is under threat. If that's true, it's not the president who poses the danger. For those of you at home, it's time to change the channel, turn down the volume, or hide the kids, put them to bed. Now I yield to Mr. Schiff for Storytime Hour. I thank the gentleman, as always, for his remarks.
And why is everybody in the room laughing about this? Because they all know it's a joke. It's a sham. It's hilarious. It's so stupid. Wow. I don't even know. I love Devin Nunes. I mean, can you imagine the guts it takes to say that kind of stuff? And not even guts. I think you just have to be fed up. I'm done. I'm through. This is ridiculous. I'm so over it.
Democrats have never got over the fact that this new guy who's never been in this town, never been in politics, this new guy came in here and has shaken this place up, and that drives them crazy. They've never accepted the will of 63 million Americans. They've never accepted the fact that Donald Trump won an electoral college landslide, and they are trying to do everything they can. And it was first FBI investigation, then it was the Mueller investigation, now it's this. They're trying to do everything they can to, as Mr. Green, Democrat Representative Al Green said, impeach him because they know he's going to win re-election. So that's the unfortunate position they put our country in. I thought Dr. Hill's statement where she said, we got to quit this kind of stuff that is tearing our country apart. That is so true.
Who punched Jimmy in the face?
What is happening is not good for our culture, not good for our nation, and yet the Democrats do not care. They are bound and determined to do whatever it takes to get after this president. And again, I think the American people see through it. They see that the facts are on the president's side, and they know this process has been entirely unfair. And
no, press play again.
I don't know where it goes next. I don't know.
I think that Jim Jordan and I could be related. Like, look at us. Look at us. We look like the same. We even have like the same jawline. We could be the same person. I am Jim Jordan.
We'll just have to wait and see, and we'll take some questions. Democrats and
okay, his nose is totally different than mine.
Okay, so here is this is a clip. I'm just bringing out some highlights so you guys don't have to play yourself. This is Elise Stefanik.
I've got to see if I can find that meme.
And she, at the very end, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to, the punchline is, was there a quid pro quo?
Right.
Okay.
Mr. Morrison, you were on that call. And
okay, so I'm trying to keep the players together, guys. They brought in a list of people. We're not going to show you clips from all of them, okay? This was one of the Democrats' witnesses who was supposedly on the call.
There was no mention of withholding aid on the call, correct?
That's correct, Congresswoman.
And there was no quid pro quo, correct?
Correct.
No bribery?
Correct.
No extortion?
Correct.
And Ambassador Volker, I presume...
Tell us the background of Elise just real quick. We didn't know who she was before.
We didn't know. She's actually been in Washington her entire adult career. She was
woman ever elected to Congress.
She's been a congresswoman for the past. She's been elected 3 times. Okay, she will be up for election. They get elected every 2 years for her 4th term in 2020. That's a really, really big deal. Now, she's kind of edgy. I don't really want to throw my whole hat in with her yet because she did flip off the camera after the hearings, but she could just be a worldly person. I can't fault her for that, but I think it's uncongresswoman-like of her to do that. That being said, she worked under the the Bush administration for, I don't remember, it's like one of Bush's
who's a staff member for
what's the second to the Secretary of State, something like that, like underneath of that, and she was a staffer there. And so she doesn't look old enough to go back that far, but she does. And then she took a step back from politics, worked for the family business, and then went back into, and she's a representative from New York.
She was a speechwriter for Paul Ryan.
Oh, that's right.
As president.
Yeah, not just a speechwriter. She was
ran for vice president under
Mitt Romney. Yeah, and she was kind of in charge of managing the debates. Not exactly a speechwriter. So she's been in this swamp for a long time. We're just now hearing from her.
She's a Harvard grad.
Yes.
I assume you got a readout of the call. Is that correct?
Very terse readout, but yes.
In this tertiary readout of the call, Ambassador, from the U.S. participants, was there any reference to withholding aid?
No, there was not.
Any reference to bribery?
No, there was not.
Any reference to quid pro quo?
No, there was not.
Any reference to extortion?
No, there was not.
And I presume you also got feedback from your Ukrainian counterparts as to how the call went. Did they mention the withholding of aid?
No, they did not.
Did they mention any quid pro quo?
No, they did not.
And did they mention any bribery?
No, they did not.
And in fact, the day after the call, you met with President Zelensky. This would be on July 26th.
That's correct.
And in that meeting, he made no mention of quid pro quo.
No.
He made no mention of withholding the aid.
No.
He made no mention of bribery.
No.
So the fact is that Ukrainians were not even aware of this hold on aid. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in the coming weeks, you were in touch with Ukrainians as part of your official duties, and this included talking to Ukrainians over the phone, in person, on text, and the Ukrainians never brought up an investigation into the Bidens. Is that correct?
That's correct.
They never brought up the withholding of the aid.
That's correct.
They never brought up quid pro quo or bribery.
Let me bring up the aid. They did bring that up after the Politico article appeared on the
I'm going to get to that, but until the Politico article, they did not bring it up. And you said in your closed-door deposition, quote, "It never came up in conversation with them, and I believe they had trust in me that they would have asked if that was really what they were worried about." Is that correct?
That is correct.
And as you pointed out, the Ukrainians never even knew their foreign aid was on pause until the article was published in Politico in August.
That's correct.
So they didn't know during the call.
That's correct.
And in fact, you had to correct Chairman Schiff on this timeline in the closed-door deposition. The chairman of this committee asked you, quote, "When they became aware that military assistance was being withheld for a reason you couldn't explain, no one could explain, weren't they under even greater pressure to give the president what he asked for on the call?" And you answered, Ambassador Volker, quote, "To my knowledge, the news about a hold on security assistance did not get into Ukrainian government circles as indicated to me by the current foreign minister, then diplomatic advisor, until the end of August." Is that your testimony?
Yes, it is.
And Chairman Schiff also got the facts wrong again when he asked you this, quote, "At the point they learned their aid was paused, wouldn't that give them added urgency to meet the president's request on the Bidens?" And you answered, Ambassador Volker, quote, "I think the Ukrainians felt like they are going in the right direction, and they had not done anything. They had not done anything on an investigation," end quote. Isn't it the case, Ambassador Volker, at one point Chairman Schiff said to you, when you were truthfully testifying, quote, "Ambassador, you're making this much more complicated than it has to be," end quote. It's page 127 from the deposition. Is that correct?
I remember that.
But the truth is the facts are indeed not complicated. And I'm going to close out with two questions for the both of you. Did Ukraine open an investigation into the Bidens? Mr. Morrison.
Not to my knowledge, ma'am.
Ambassador Volker.
Not to my knowledge either.
Did either of you ever have any evidence of quid pro quo? Mr. Morrison.
No, ma'am.
Ambassador Volker.
I did not.
Any evidence of bribery?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Any evidence of treason?
No, ma'am. No evidence.
Look at that guy's face.
Wow,
the guy's face when he's asked to answer like treason, like I want you to go back and kind of see if you can see his face.
Hang on, wait, let me make you big. Wait, don't play it until I make you big. Okay, now I've got these lights here. Well,
any evidence of bribery?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Any evidence of
which
treason?
guy are we looking at?
No, ma'am.
This guy?
This one.
Okay, his smiling face. Right
watch
there.
his face when the bribery question is asked. He's kind of bored, and then
evidence of quid pro quo.
Your head's in the way.
Mr. Morrison.
I just pushed you. I'm sorry.
Ambassador Volker.
I did not.
Any evidence of bribery?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Bored.
Any
now
evidence
watch.
of treason?
No, ma'am. No evidence of treason.
And now he just kind of smirks.
That's great.
No, he's not treasonous. Come on, we're done here. Now,
so over.
Bye Bye Elise is still trending on Twitter
because they're trying to get rid
Democrats, of her. Rosie O'Donnell, Chelsea Handler, and Hollywood liberals are trying to get her out of New York 21. So I want to show you a campaign ad that she just created.
Stefanik did?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I just want to make sure that they're seeing it properly. And just step out of the way.
Tax and Tetra. The toast of Tinseltown is back and more out of touch with the North Country than ever. What was a tasteless tweet to most Americans has liberal Hollywood elites.
George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, is a jerk. And he tweeted out, Elise Stefanik is trash.
Like Rosie O'Donnell and Chelsea Handler pulling out their black card and clicking donate all the way from their multi-million-dollar mansions. And while Tedra's cast of Hollywood's leading liberal supporters grows, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is doing what she's always done, giving people who actually live and work in the North Country a voice in Washington. Farmers, veterans, students, small businesses, and families. Elise knows that Hollywood money and blue-checked Twitter profiles don't mean much where we're from, because this is the North Country, and that, it's just showbiz.
Well, okay, so one thing that is worth pointing out here is the fact that she's from New York, okay?
But Northern New York is so different.
It is. And I think that's what I wanted to point out. I mean, these people, so I think we throw the East Coast into a big lump. And the fact that she has been consistently, I went and looked, you can look at her Wikipedia page, and she consistently beat the opponent by a very large margin every single time. Now, granted, we're talking about her getting like 150,000 votes and the opponent getting like 90. Well, that's not a lot of people, 150,000 people. But it is a lot for them to try to fake 60,000 votes.
Sure, but I also think that now that she's on the board, she's actually going to get more support, and people maybe who wouldn't have voted for her, didn't know who she was, now they do.
Exactly.
And they're going to be like, that's my
Name
congresswoman.
recognition is everything. Oh, I know that name, Stefanik, and watching these hearings.
And then if your opponent is connected to Rosie O'Donnell, and some people just don't have a taste for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this week, Donald Trump, one of the witnesses said that he overheard the phone call. He was, somebody sitting next to him was on the phone, not on speaker.
Get out.
But talking loudly. And Donald Trump said, and I should bring it up, Donald Trump said, I've never been able to overhear a phone call from somebody, much less from across the room, when they're on the phone, unless they're on like speaker.
Right.
So Chris Cuomo decides to do it live on air. Now, this is the spoof from Carpe Dunkum. I'm just going to tell you, you can watch the full one online. She can't hear. So there's nothing going on. He's going to interpose Donald Trump's voice. This is a spoof, but there's nothing. He's tried to call his mom. Okay.
Theory from our president that he has really good hearing. Some would say the best hearing ever. And he's never been able to hear a phone call when it wasn't on speakerphone. From anybody. So let's just play with that for a second. Mom, can you hear me?
What do you want? I keep hearing all these things. What do you want?
All right. So if I were holding the phone here, I'm with Dana Bash. You know how you're always telling me to let her talk because she's so smart and I shouldn't say so much. Can you just say hello?
I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo.
Mom, she probably can't hear me. Mom, can you hear me?
If you weren't fake news, you'd cover it properly.
I'm talking to you. Say hello to Dana Bash.
Hi, Mrs. Cuomo.
No, not you. Not you.
How are you?
You are fake news. And your mother is voting for Trump.
All right. So I can't hear your mother, Kristen.
Go home to mom.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, what you need to do, I got to get a better reaction from you because you're going to see it. You're going to see
But hang on though, because this is really, I'm kind of hurting for Chris Cuomo a little bit, if that's even possible, because I'm thinking to myself, that has to be one of the biggest on-air flubs anybody has ever had.
It's one.
It's a flop. Yeah. You're trying to make a point instead of like, if he'd gone as an experiment, like, you know, hey, I want to see if you can. Let's just try this out.
I should have done the original first, but here we go.
Theory from our president that he has really good hearing. Some would say the best hearing ever, and he's never been able when it wasn't on speakerphone from anybody. So
this
let's
is the
just
most exciting
play with that
thing
for
of
a
this
second.
week.
Mom, can you hear me?
Besides the fart.
All right. So if I were holding the phone here, I'm with Dana Bash. You know how you're always telling me to let her talk because she's so smart and I shouldn't say so much. Can you just say hello? Mom, she probably can't hear me. Mom, can you hear me?
I heard her.
Yes, I hear you. When you talk to me, I hear you.
I'm talking to you. Say hello to Dana Bash.
Hi, Mrs. Cuomo. How are you?
All right. So I can't
So you could hear her a little bit, though. Like I heard her, but the phone was right next to her microphone.
It's not on speakerphone. It's regular phone. It's 2 feet away from Dana. She can hear my mother.
It's less than 2 feet. He literally held the phone up to her like this.
Right.
But he didn't have it to his face, to his ear that he was talking on the phone.
Right.
But no, she couldn't hear. Her face was like, she didn't say like, oh, I hear her. She's struggling to try to hear. Like, and the point is that guy was literally.
So we're going to try this experiment here at my house.
Ma, answer the phone.
I'm calling you for an experiment. Are you watching the show? I can hear Leah on the other end. Leah, can you hear Mom?
I can hear her.
You can hear Mom?
Right here, yeah.
Mom, say something again. Okay.
No, see, but I can.
Right.
I can totally hear that.
Okay. All right. I'm
But
hanging
he
up
did
now.
this experiment, and she couldn't hear. It was really hilarious.
Well, I think, and that's the thing. I have no problem. I'm not trying to prove a point.
Right.
I just wanted to know, and because I actually have heard people on the phone that were holding it next to their ear. So,
Right.
I mean, why can't we just be like honest? Why do you need to like make a point?
Exactly. Why do you need to make a point? That's a great question. That's perfect. Let's see. Here we go. Devin Nunes is incredulous. They would have impeached George Washington.
I'll remind my friends on the other side of the aisle that our first president, George Washington, directed his own diplomatic channels to secure a treaty with Great Britain. If my Democratic colleagues were around in 1794, they'd probably want to impeach him too.
And that's what it comes down to. These deep state people are upset with Donald Trump dictating their own policy.
Right.
All right. Here's a Jim Jordan clip.
Jimmy.
Started before the inauguration, even before the election. The ranking member talked about this. His opening statement, July 2016. FBI opens an investigation. So-called Trump-Russia coordination, collusion, which was never there. Opened an investigation, spied on 2 American citizens associated with the presidential campaign. My guess is that's probably never happened in American history. But
we do have a FBI agent who has been indicted for altering a document in the FISA abuse of Carter Page. That's out today.
They did it. And for 10 months, Jim Comey's FBI investigated the president. Guess what? After 10 months, they had nothing.
Donald Trump tweeted out, "Firing Comey was the best thing I ever did. Could you imagine if I had kept him on?"
No.
Yeah,
actually. Why we know that? Because when we deposed Mr. Comey last Congress, he told us they didn't have a thing. No matter. Special Counsel Mueller gets appointed, and they do a 2-year, $40 million, 19-lawyer, unbelievable investigation. And guess what? They come back, and they got nothing. But the Democrats don't care.
Exactly zero.
So now we get this. Bunch of depositions in the
bunker, in the bottom, in the basement of the building.
Poor Jimmy not playing.
It's okay. We make them. Jimmy, 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 gimme Jimmy tonight. Getting back
Truth
here.
is, the attacks actually started before.
Hang on.
Before the inauguration, before.
We're at like 1:20. Here we go.
Witnesses who aren't allowed to answer questions about who they talked to about the phone call. We get this. All based on some anonymous whistleblower, no firsthand knowledge, bias against the president. These facts have never changed. We learned these right away. Who worked with Vice President Biden, who wrote a memo the day after somebody talked to him about the call, but waited 18 days to file a complaint. 18 days to file a complaint. What did he do in those 18 days? We all know. Ran off and talked with chairmanship staff. And then hired the legal team that I just talked about. One of the steps in the whole impeachment coup, as his legal team has said. This is scary what these guys are putting our country through. It is sad, it is scary, it is wrong.
Yep.
And the good news is, the American people see through it all.
Yep.
They know
the good
facts
news.
are on the president's side. As Representative Stefanik said, 4 facts will never change.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Oh my God.
So here is Donald Trump tweeting this out.
Charade. Just 10 days after President Trump was inaugurated, the whistleblower's lawyer Mark Zaid wrote that the coup has started and impeachment will follow. That's right. The whistleblower's own lawyer wrote the coup has started and impeachment will follow. They promised a coup, and now they're trying to carry it out. The Democrats are trying to overthrow President Trump, undo the 2016 election, and silence our voices. Don't let them. I'm done.
I love it. I love it.
I approve this message.
I gotta tell you guys, and to take a cue from Jim Jordan, and here's the good news. I couldn't be more excited about You know, the Bible says that God takes the weapons that your enemy tries to use against you and turns them back on them. That's what we are seeing here.
Great one.
And these people are going to be so exposed. Rather, they should have just bided their time. You know why they couldn't?
Naked and afraid.
Because everybody but AOC is old. And if they wait for Trump for the end of his 2 terms, they'll be has-beens. And their power will have been gone, okay? Because I was thinking while I was cleaning the deck today. You know, it used to be, politics was kind of like a little bit of a game. And if your opponent lost, then you were happy, right? But at the same time, you understood that they may beat you the next time. Now, if your opponent won, you're sad, but you don't want to win by cheating, okay? You want it to be fair and square.
Unless you're Lyndon Johnson.
But my point is, most Americans are actually thinking to themselves with this impeachment process, most Democrats, I should say, are probably going, can we just let them have their win for a second? I mean, we had Obama for 2 terms. All right, we had Clinton for 2 terms. It goes back and forth. It's what it does. Most Americans are fine. They had Bush. That's good. Most Americans are fine with the other side winning. We can handle it.
The last person that any sort of Republican or conservative had was Reagan. Everybody else was
deep state
leftist.
But my point is, like, this used to be kind of like, oh, it's fine. Just wait your turn. We'll try and get them next time. We'll get them at the next election. And it makes it fun, right? To see if we can get them in the middle. Like if we have a 1 term, we stopped them at 1 term. You know, like the people that voted against John Quincy Adams. All right, we stopped them at 1 term.
Okay, so the great one, Mark Levin.
But they can't. They're terrified.
He sums everything up.
Various times. This is what you do. This is your wheelhouse. Constitutional law. You have a lot to add to this national nightmare they're creating.
I'm still getting through the Mueller report here, actually. We spent years and years on the Mueller report and $40 million and congressional hearings and Mueller, and they connected the dots and they found all kinds of. I'm still on page 397 of the Mueller report, and then they throw Ukraine at us. It's hard to keep up, Sean. Anyway, after we were attacked at Pearl Harbor, Admiral Yamamoto of Japan, he said, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." You know, Adam Schiff, you are in some ways Admiral Yamamoto. You just awakened a sleeping giant. You threw everything you had.
Which wasn't much.
At the president, at the Republicans, at 63 million voters who voted for this president. And this is the best you have? This is the best you have? You have nothing. And you controlled everything. You controlled the witnesses. You controlled the information. You interrupted the Republicans. You had control over the hearing room, control over the rules and the timing and the press events. And you'll have control over the charging document. You're the Democrat Party's Yamamoto. And even now, with all the control that you've had, and all the positive press, and all the clownish legal analysts and the rest, and the propaganda that they're pushing, and they're selling.
When I do the shifty eyes, he doesn't always do that. He only does it when there's something going on. Like, it's really creepy, because if you look at his face right here, he doesn't have it. But then when other people in the Republicans are talking, he's just like,
it's the Hillary Clinton thing. I'm telling you, it's the bug that they have put in their brains when they're trying to listen and be controlled. It's the Mark Zuckerberg thing.
It is.
And they kind of go,
right.
Celebrating.
Yeah.
The polls for Donald Trump are going up.
They are.
Now, once the Senate has control over this, there's no more Adam Schiff control. There's no more Nancy Pelosi control. There's no more of the mobster types that we saw in the Democrat Party, preening and beating their chests. And the American people, they revere their Constitution.
Yes.
They cherish their franchise. And they demand fairness from their representatives. And let me tell you something, Democrats. You screwed up big time. This was the weakest conga line of hand-picked witnesses I've ever seen in any hearing at any time. There's no smoking gun. Overwhelmingly hearsay. basically, what did we have here? A small cabal of State Department and NSC bureaucrats who didn't like Trump or his policies. Yet every single one of them, when pressed by the Republicans, had to admit no bribery, no extortion, no quid pro quo, no impeachable offense. And the media thought, wow, with headlines that are incomprehensible. Not a single witness could or did accuse the president of criminality. Only a single witness had directly spoken with or met with the president about any of these issues. And he said, no, the president didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. We look at Ukraine. We're getting these lectures from the witnesses and the Democrats. Ukraine needed the aid. They needed offensive military aid. We need it for geopolitical reasons. Their witness today, Fiona Hill, she was just, I can't believe the president did this. Look what he's doing. He's empowering the Russians. And she wrote a few years earlier a long op-ed saying, don't give the Ukrainians the military aid they're asking for. As a matter of fact, the Democrats and their great leader, Barack Obama, he refused to give Ukraine the offensive military weapons they were looking for. So despite all these bureaucrats testifying, they couldn't get the weapons that Ukraine wanted under Obama. There were no hearings. There were no headlines. It was Trump who got the Ukrainians the weapons that they needed. It was Trump who stopped the Russians. It was Trump who put the most severe sanctions in modern history on the Russians. It was Obama who appeased the Russians. It was Obama under whose presidency the Russians invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea. If you want to impeach, then we need to retroactively impeach
Wouldn't that be
Obama.
so great?
Now this will move
I would
to the
love
United
that.
States Senate.
Oh,
Let's
can
hope
we do
the
that?
Republicans, for once in their life, grow a spine. I want to remind the Republicans, including the half dozen or so, who were not, we cannot reveal the whistleblower. Read your damn law. You wrote it. Read your law. The so-called whistleblower is not a whistleblower under your law. The so-called whistleblower's complaint right here is not covered by the statute that you wrote. The phone call between President Trump and President Zelensky is not covered by the statute you wrote. President Trump is not covered by the statute you wrote. And the so-called whistleblower is not anonymous under the statute, is he? So the president's lawyers will finally get a shot at the whistleblower who never wrote this complaint. And they will get to ask him. They will get to say, I know his name, I'm not allowed to say. I know all about him, I'm not allowed to say. But it's time that sham comes to an end. A president gets to confront the person who's challenging him. Now, here's some of the questions for Mr. Whistleblower. Who was involved in writing the complaint? Who advised him to use the whistleblower statute to create this false protection? Did he speak to Adam Schiff or Nancy Pelosi or any Democrat members of Congress directly or through surrogates? What did he discuss with Schiff's staffers who formerly were the NFC? Did he speak to, we want to know yes or no, Lieutenant Colonel, or Mr., may I say, Vindman, or not? We want to know all about this whistleblower because the whistleblower wants to bring down the President of the United States. Moreover, we want Hunter Biden.
Yeah, we do.
We want Hunter Biden, not because of anything in our imagination or right-wing conspiracy theories, because you folks at Politico and the New York Times and other places, you've told us about Hunter Biden. You've told us about the Bidens. Don't we have a right as the American people to know if the individual who may be nominated as the Democrat nominee for President of the United States is a crook? Is that the only family in American history who's not to be investigated? I don't think so. And one other thing. This is the so-called whistleblower's complaint. This has been Adam Schiff's playbook from day one. Adam, did you write this? Adam, were you involved in writing this? Because Adam needs to be a witness too. We want to know all about Adam. We know he's a liar, but we need to put him under oath under penalty of perjury. When you go through this complaint, you can see this was Adam Schiff's playbook from day one, page after page after.
Okay,
Wow.
What are we done?
So, and it should be over, but it's not over.
Oh.
But hang on, do you really want it to be over, Leah?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if this thing passes the House, which is why I can't understand why they are trying to impeach Trump, and it goes to the Senate, I've got some favorite senators, Rand Paul being one of them. Yeah. Do you have any idea what is going to happen here? when it goes to the Senate.
I hope it'll be great.
It's going to be, people are going to go to jail, man. It's going to be great. And you just said here on this show earlier, we get 1 day. Here's the good news, Jimmy Jordan. We're going to get 1 day to call whoever we want, and that is going to be the be-all, end-all day, I think.
It could be good. Donald Trump says he wants a hearing. And Donald Trump says he wants to call everybody.
Yeah, I do.
He wants to call everybody, and I think that this could be a fireworks display like you've never seen before. So we'll see where it goes. But by the way, this chick here, Fiona Hill.
We have a hippo named Fiona at our zoo who has gone worldwide famous. So when you say Fiona and I see this lady, all I can see is the hippo.
As we previously mentioned, the Gateway Pundit says Roger Stone actually outed Fiona Hill in 2017 as a deep state spy at the White House. So if Trump had listened to Roger Stone then, she wouldn't even be there and it wouldn't even be a thing. Under H.R. McMaster, the George Soros connected traitor was outed by Israeli spies, as was reported at Stone by Stone at InfoWars. Adam Schiff and the Democrats needed Hill to speak for 11 hours in their basement interview. Hill had zero knowledge of the call President Trump had with the Ukraine president and only heard rumors. Democrats don't care. What a clown show. According to her resume, Fiona Hill worked for the George Soros Open Society Institute from 2000 to 2006, just 13 years ago.
That's a long time to be
But there's more. She has connections to Christopher Steele.
Oh, boy.
According to people familiar with their relationship, the two British-Russian hands are not exactly friends, but they have known each other for years. Beginning when Hill was working on Russia at the National Intelligence Council, Steele was on MI6 Russian desk. She had a high opinion of Steele.
And thought he was very smart.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Exactly. Exactamundo. We're going to get to that in just a second. I think... Oh, yeah, this is what I was talking about. The GOP leader drops bomb on Schiff, points to committee rule that must allow Republicans day to call witnesses. So we'll see how that works out.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, we'll see. We want to move on to some more exciting news, but while we're still on the Bidens... Okay, so if you guys didn't know this, Hunter Biden fathered a kid, and this just came out this week.
Hang on, though, because it's totally fine to father a kid. So that's not explained. You just said he fathered a kid.
That was my next
line.
You said hang
well,
on,
you didn't
but
finish
I wasn't.
It, though.
I literally, guess because you interrupted me.
Sorry.
Hunter Biden fathered a child, but...
You said in case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know.
Okay.
And you go ahead and tell him.
No.
Tell him.
No. He left his wife of, 21 years?
It's really weird. He left his wife of 20 years. And then he dated his...
brother-in-law's... No.
His brother's widow.
Yeah. His brother died.
Yeah.
And then he goes and makes moves on his sister-in-law.
And then while he's dating the sister-in-law,
that's creepy.
This other chick that he got pregnant has a baby. And then he denies the paternity, and she has to sue.
And then we get a test. Give me the test.
And the DNA test.
You my baby daddy.
And then the DNA test says that he is the father.
You are the father. Maury Povich told you.
Well, yeah, or Jerry Springer. Like, the Bidens are Jerry Springer. And this is what they warned. They warned that Joe Biden couldn't be presidential.
Well, we were hearing about this early on, and I kept going, they kept saying there's stuff. The Bidens, they should not put Joe forward because all this stuff is going to come out.
Right.
This is the stuff.
Well, then he married some lady that he only knew for 6 days after that, after he broke up with the widow. And
it was love at first sight.
The woman who wants Secret Service protection for her child is suing to get child support. Wants some of that Ukrainian money. So the mainstream media ignores Hunter Bud's $130 million taxpayer cookie jar raid. The Washington Examiner on Thursday reported that an investment firm central to Hunter Biden's financial dealings received more than $130 million in federal bailout loans while Joe Biden was vice president. Rosemont Capital, named after the former Secretary of State's John Kerry's 90-acre Hines family estate outside of Fox Chapel, Pennsylvania, was founded by Hunter Biden, Christopher Hines, and longtime friend Devin Archer.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for those slippery ketchup guys.
Hines.
According to what really is Hines.
Is it really
John
the Hines
Kerry?
people? Okay.
Yeah, John Kerry married into
Heinz 57 company.
Just Heinz.
Well,
just
but Heinz 57 is how we know about it. So if you want to say
Heinz is ketchup.
Heinz 57 is the same company as Heinz ketchup. So I'm saying for people's sanity's sake, just say Heinz 57.
Just Heinz.
Leah.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. According to the report, Rosemont was just one of 177 firms to participate in Obama's 2009 term asset-backed securities loan facility, which issued billions of dollars in favorable loans to investors who agreed to buy bonds from struggling banks. And this is
including college and auto loans.
Yeah. So
Jeremy B says nothing wrong with talking to your widowed sister-in-law. It's a common practice in the Bible. Well, okay, you're not wrong there. You're absolutely not wrong there. But I would add to this. When you're a part of a well-known family that may or may not have ties to intense corruption, and you were sleeping with another lady and fathered a baby with her, it might be
weird.
A little bit weird because, like, if you're associated with the Clintons at all, then I would be thinking, did you have your own brother killed off to hook up with his wife?
Huh. After 2 weeks of public testimony revealed that Democrats' impeachment case against President Donald Trump is largely made up of hurt feelings and foreign policy disagreements, the White House and allies say Trump is looking forward to a trial of some length in the Senate. What is happening?
I don't know.
Oh, I want as the first witness because, frankly, I want a trial. You know, I could have it.
You want a trial?
Whatever I want. Oh, I would. Look, number one, they should never, ever impeach. This is not impeach. I watched 5 people on your network yesterday say there's nothing here. Andy McCarthy. How about Ken, special prosecutor, special counsel? Ken Starr, he was fantastic. He said, there's nothing here. So, ready? Number one, there should never be an impeachment. This is not an impeachment. That phone call was totally appropriate, okay, totally. But assuming these people are as sleazy as they are, and Nancy Pelosi is totally incompetent, she's absolutely lost. She doesn't know what she's doing. She hasn't done anything. She can't get anything approved. Everybody's working on this, and they just got blown away because they put their witnesses up, and we're not going to get USMCA because
so you want a trial.
The farmers and everyone are going to vote against Democrats like you've never seen before. But if they do put it up because they're crazy, I mean, Adam Schiff is a nut job.
Okay.
That was the end of that clip, but it obviously went further.
Exactly. All right. He wants to be able to bring up witnesses like Adam and Schiff, like the whistleblower, like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Now remember, under an impeachment trial.
Can we bring up Obama? Can we bring up Hillary?
Under an impeachment trial, Donald Trump's lawyers, you don't have to rely on the Senate to interview people. His lawyers, like Rudy Giuliani, could really go after people.
I think Rudy Giuliani wants them to impeach him more than anybody so that he can...
I came to believe.
Do this.
I believe that is what I believe. To the best of my understanding, that is what I still believe. I believe.
I believe.
I believe that. I think a sense something.
I think that.
I have no awareness or knowledge. I thought that.
How'd that make you feel, sir? So how did you feel?
And so I kind of sit here with a mix of emotions.
How did that make you feel?
I don't know.
It didn't feel like I was.
Yeah, I was presuming. I assumed that. I was presuming. It was my assumption. I just assumed it would be pure, guesswork on my part, speculation. I don't know.
Yep.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. It's all speculation.
Again, I don't recall President Trump ever talking to me about any security assistance, ever.
Did the president ever tell you personally about any preconditions for anything?
This is Sondland behind Leah.
Okay, so the president never told you about any preconditions for the aid to be released?
No.
Is it correct? No one on this planet told you that Donald Trump was tying this aid to the investigations? Because if your answer is yes, then the chairman's wrong and the headline on CNN is wrong. No one on this planet told you that President Trump was tying aid to investigations. Yes or no?
Yes. You called President Trump to ask him, what do you want from Ukraine? He responded, I want nothing. I want no quid pro quo. I want Zelensky to do the right thing. I want him to do what he ran on. And what he ran on was fighting corruption, correct? Correct.
President said, quote, no quid pro quo. I want nothing. I want nothing. I want President Zelensky to do the right thing, do what he ran on, end quote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That means it's all over.
If this were a prize fight, they'd stop it.
It's true. It is all over. It's so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I'm just gonna stop it. I'm pulling the plug. We're done.
Okay.
I can't handle anymore. My head hurts.
So the title of our show is about tying JFK to the deep state that is still attacking Trump. And since we did our JFK segment to start with, and you're going to finish here with the impeachment process here, maybe you want to tie that up with a neat little bow.
Well, here's another story. Jim Chung-Shing Lee, ex-CIA agent sentenced over China spying. So this came out about a year ago. There's Cherry Ching-Sung Lee, 55, left the CIA in 2007 and was recruited by the Chinese agents in Hong Kong. Prosecutors say he was then paid to divulge information on U.S. national defense. China is then said to have dismantled a network of informants. Lee is the third former CIA officer in less than a year to be sentenced for conspiring with China. He pleaded guilty in May to conspiracy to deliver national defense information to aid a foreign government, but prosecutors and defense lawyers disagreed over the extent of the crime. He's a U.S. naturalized citizen, seeking a lesser sentence than 10 years. Prosecutors say Chinese intelligence officers gave Lee hundreds of thousands of dollars and that he likely gave them all the information he had from his 13-year career in the CIA. But his defense team argued that it was never proved that the money came from China or that he had carried out plans to deliver government secrets. However, U.S. Attorney Zachary Telwiger welcomed Friday's sentencing, saying Lee sold out his country, conspired to become a spy for a foreign government, and then repeatedly lied to investigators about his conduct. The Justice Department says Lee was contacted by Chinese intelligence agents in 2010. They offered him money, promising to take care of him for life in exchange for required secret information. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were deposited into his Hong Kong bank account between May 2010 and 2013. Lee created a document containing information about CIA activities, including locations to which U.S. agents would be assigned. In 2012, FBI agents searched a hotel room in Hawaii registered to Lee's name and found a USB drive. Investigators found the document on unallocated space in the drive, suggesting it had been deleted. The search also revealed Lee to have a day planner and address book containing notes of intelligence provided by CIA agents, their true identities, operational meeting locations and phone numbers, and information about covert facilities. Lee was interviewed by CIA officers in 2012, during which he said he had met Chinese intelligence officers but concealed the fact that they had set him tasks. The Justice Department said, how significant is this? The information provided by Lee is said to have helped China to bring down a network of informants between 2010 and 2012. About 20 informants were killed or jailed in that period. One of the most disastrous failures of U.S. intelligence in recent years.
Gosh.
He is not the only former CIA officer to be convicted of working with China. In May, former CIA spy Kevin Mallory was sentenced to 20 years in prison after being convicted of conspiring to transmit U.S. defense secrets to China. Former U.S. intelligence officer Ron Rockwell Hansen was sentenced in September to 10 years in prison. We have here a deep state, and we have here a real enemy, and the enemy is China. They are Chinese. And the same communist cabal that was running around trying to get things going under JFK,
right,
is just the same Hydra, new head. All right, Chairman Mao didn't have the same power in during JFK's time that he has right now.
Right.
But our CIA, obviously, when you see one of these guys and he is convicted, then it's supposedly the CIA is doing its job. But they're not the only ones that are, these three guys aren't the only ones selling out America. They're not the only one. We have John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey. Remember, John Brennan and James Comey both were laughed about being communists in college. And John Brennan, I believe it was John Brennan who, when he was interviewing to join the CIA, he said, I've been a communist. And they just said, oh, yeah, fine, come on in.
It's fine.
So when you have
one of us.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get. When you have this treasonous cabal, and if anything, they have something to hold over you or something like that. When you have this treasonous cabal of deep state people going after President Trump, the same deep state people were going after JFK. Now, Lee Harvey Oswald was just a patsy, but he wasn't just a patsy for the JFK assassination. They were using him. They sent him as an asset.
They used him so many times.
They used him as an asset. They taught him Russia. They taught him Russian, and then they sent him to Russia.
They told him to put up this cover of being a communist. Like, he'd go out in public and hand out leaflets. He was literally trying to set his own stage for being a communist.
He said it, and that was the thing. Because why would he be allowed to stay in the military with these overt? He would go around and say, I'm a communist, and and everybody would call him the red,
And he was so cocky, because you're only cocky like that when you think that you are on the inside. Exactly. They had made him believe that he was some upper echelon, only he knows this stuff, and he's like highest clearance, because he was sent down with this cancer killing thing to kill Castro. It wasn't successful, but he was the guy that they sent. So is Lee Harvey Oswald at least an attempted assassin? Yes. Okay. Did they try to use him as a sharpshooter for Castro? No, because he wasn't that good. No. He got like a C on his report card for being a shooter.
Exactly. So my conclusions are the same CIA and FBI and deep state that went after and covered up JFK's death is going after President Trump. Right. Just some random news while we're here before we sign off.
Are you going to do your other sing songs even though we're at 2 hours?
I think we can hold them off on that. I think there was just one more thing. Oh, yeah, the Democrats had a debate this week.
Oh, yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard really brought the hammer down, but I think I'm going to play this one. And this has nothing to do with anything, but this is another story that happened this week where a high school voted to allow boys in the girls' locker room, and you're going to see the transgender boy who is in favor of it and a swimmer who is upset.
Yeah, it passed. I'm really hoping they vote for it. It's definitely going to be a step forward in progress. I'm really excited if they vote for it. A bit nervous though, as always. Just you never know. But it's definitely a first step forward in many more steps. It's a great policy. Unfortunately, it's not everything we want, such as talking about even the small things like changing the name on your student ID, which you're required to wear at all times. So I'm really hoping that the district makes the right decision here and votes it. Yeah, it passed.
And how does that make you feel?
I'm ecstatic. I'm sorry. I
feel uncomfortable that my privacy is being invaded. As I am a swimmer, I do change multiple times naked in front of the other students in the locker room. And I understand that the board has an obligation to all students, but I was hoping that they would go about this in a different way that would also accommodate students such as myself.
Why does a transgender student have to change and have to be with girls,
right?
Biological girls. When you have one or two or three, you don't change a policy for thousands.
You could create a separate space
Then
for them.
that person gets a separate space so that everyone has a safe space. She no longer has a safe space.
Right.
There's no scientific consensus that that boy is a real girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's not science.
Right.
We don't know. We don't know. And that girl doesn't feel safe now or feel comfortable. Lots of dirty boys could now claim to be girls, grow out their hair, and just be these weird pervs.
Right.
And there's no litmus test to say you really are a girl.
Exactly.
So, there you have it.
And I've said this before. They almost have to. So, like at my uncle's gym, they have. I think they call it a transgender changing room. But really all that it means is you walk into a hallway and on the right are the lockers for you to put your stuff. And on the left are literal individual bathrooms and showers. Okay. So you go into your little space and you shut the door and there you are by yourself. Now, once you come out with your bag and stuff and then you put it in the locker, that's the thing that's going to have to happen. That's the only fair thing. If they're going to do anything at all, that's what has to happen.
So I'm going to leave you with this little new fun little clip of Donald Trump here that you don't get to see very much.
We're going to get a copyright on this song, but that's all right.
Oh.
It's okay. It should be fine. Wow, that's after the hurricane.
Got your hat.
And I've got that hat. I was wearing it at my Bible study. Thanks to Kelly. Trump, welcome to Puerto Rico. We are one. I literally have that hat. I need to get him to sign it. Okay, that guy's a poo-poo face. That's what we call him. And there's Melania's White House for Christmas.
Everybody said it was horrible. I loved it.
It was beautiful. Not everybody. The haters. It was stunning. It was absolutely stunning.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I don't believe in idol worship. Trump is by far the most hardworking president we've ever had.
I agree with that.
He's
Most
the most
hands-on.
amazing president. Most hands-on. He's the most amazing president that we've had since Lincoln. Lincoln put his whole life into being president. And to see the deep state go after him in such hate, I changed my view a little bit on JFK. I think that he was kind of a womanizing guy, but I also believe that he came from a very dirty family and he was prepared to expose them. And that takes a lot to do.
And that's another thing we didn't talk about. Could it have been his own family?
That's true. That's true. I think he was prepared to. I think that, in every wicked family, there's a guy with a heart. And, I think that him and his brother, Bobby, maybe even Bobby might have even had a heart too. Well, I don't know. But one of our viewers, Bill Burnett, would say that he did. So with that, packages.
Not today.
Birthday? No?
Well, I'm kind of tired, and it's
okay.
I'm not, and I. So what I mean is, I want to be able to be excited and enthusiastic about.
Well,
it.
y'all sent. We got a card in the mail today. Kelly said something.
Robert Bone sent a ham again from the Honey Baked Ham Company and a pecan pie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Robert. Honestly,
I just at least the card because I posted on Facebook.
Okay, is it over there?
Yeah. I thought I brought it down. No. Is it upstairs? It's upstairs on the box, I guess. You guys send us your cards, you send us your letters, and they mean so much to us. And we got one today from Jamaica, and it's just so fun to make a connection with you. I made a post on Facebook that said, when I was a kid, you'd watch the kids programs, or I'd watch TBN or something, and they would say, send in your letters. And then they read letters from people. I would just get so excited because the connection there with people just meant so much. You can go ahead and open it and show people the Jamaican postage there. It just tickles me pink to know there are people watching us from around the world. And so I could literally hear the reggae coming through this card. Go ahead.
Jesus, the very first and most beautiful Christmas gift ever given. It's such a joy to celebrate the gift of Jesus with special people like you. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All the best from Simon Blanchard. I don't know if I ever say that last name right, but then there's a scripture on this side. Let me see if I can get that focused in there. I'm not going to show that side. Every good and perfect gift is from above. James 1:17. So
he's from the West Indies and Jamaica, man.
Yes,
so,
he is. Thank you.
It's just fun when you guys send. It's just like a touch to some of the screen names we have here. It's always so funny to try it because I know there's people. I know you guys have, but some of the screen names I just look at them and it cracks me up because I don't know who you are. I don't know what you look like Nemo says. Well, that could be a girl, that could get a boy, be a boy. It's just wicked psyched. So when you guys send, and I know some of you guys, you send the things in the mail. Oh, that's who that person is. That's really fun. So I didn't know if people said some good. President Trump did a great job hosting Steven Crowder's show the other day. That was funny. Steven Crowder did an impersonation of President Trump.
Crowder's impersonations of Trump are really hilarious.
Hillary will never go to jail. Trump won't get impeached. This is just good TV for simple masses, says Jeremy B.
So Patriot Gallery is trying to get a trend starting. And that is because they have censored us on the videos. It used to be we would get put in recommended videos. If you like this video, you'll also like this. So she thinks that in the comment section and in the live chats, we should be posting on people's channels. If you like this, then you might also like this. Now, obviously, you would want to keep it within keeping with what that channel is doing, but still to act as our own recommended videos.
So to read some of these, Harold Chapman says, by his own admission, creepy Joe Biden abused his position, yet he has faced no repercussions.
Now, let me go to Periscope for another comment on that, on the Biden thing. Let's see.
I love you guys on Periscope. You're so awesome.
I know. I'm sorry.
Twitter
okay,
world.
so Aussie Nick says, imagine the Biden family dinner conversations. Do their attorneys attend?
Does anybody, if you really wanted to blackmail your family members in the Biden Christmas, you would bring, you would tape it.
Right. So Refocused Zone says, cool Stefanik meme, where I had that picture of her up. Dental O says, what's up, Warrior Maidens? Let's see, Tom 5555555 says the left doesn't like Trump because he's exposing their crimes. He works for free, no salary. The Kennedys fought the globalists and paid for it. Let's see. So I think that kind of Stephen Bosco on Facebook says, didn't the CIA become the mafia?
Yes. ID says from Peace Sisters from Canada, Quebec. Woo!
And now we're blurry on Facebook, so it just keeps going back and forth. So anyway, I wanted to get to some of the Facebook comments and the Periscope comments because we missed those.
Exactly. Often. Yeah, you guys are awesome. So I want to make sure we get some of your comments in.
But back to Robert for the ham. our friend that usually raises turkeys didn't raise them this year. So we don't have a turkey, and we were going to get out one of our hams. And then Robert had sent me a forward of his receipt saying that it was coming. And so I was like, well, I guess we're not getting out the ham. Robert's, the honey baked ham is a delicious ham. This is I think the second time he's done that with the pecan pie. So thank you. It was really exciting when I knew that.
So a couple more comments. Robert Bowen says, actually Dale Jones, what I wanted to say, America will cease to exist if we go back to Democrat rhino rule. And Harold Chapman says, sad thing is that you will only get 8 years of Trump before we return to the usual swamp monsters. You want to?
I disagree with that totally, because
2024 could be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
I think it's good.
I think there's a wave. You can't stop.
It's not just the wave, though.
Tsunami.
Yes, but they have. You can do irrevocable damage to your party, and not just your party, but to your own corruption. Because if you cut the head off the snake, then it just dies. Yeah, and that's what they are doing to themselves. Yes. They keep cutting off all of their own heads. There's not going to be anybody left. Okay. We are so sick of corruption on both sides, okay? So it's not a matter of Democrat versus Republican. It's a matter of righteousness and God-fearing people, okay? So I truly believe, and you heard it here first on Resistance Chicks, that for a really long time to come, several elections, we're going to have God-fearing people in the White House. Legit God-fearing, non-swamp creatures, people in the White House, and in our House of Representative seats, in our Senate seats, in our local government seats. It's going to be like a wave, okay? It is already happening. It's already started, okay? It's like when you see a rise on a graph, you kind of know where the trajectory is headed. I don't have to be a prophet to tell you that, but I do believe it within my spirit.
Okay, so I will sing my new song, since you guys are so patiently here. Michelle's talking about the anointing and the power of God. So I want to encourage you guys. It's like you heard it here first. The anointing's coming. We heard a friend of ours send us a link of a video of a woman who had a little prophecy. And the gist of it is she's not real political. She's kind of just a regular, normal person. But God, she thinks that's why God gave her the word. And you could tell them the basicness of the steps.
I did on my show.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna use this as a ploy to make you watch my Bible study. You have to go and watch my Bible study to get the rest of that. I did it at the end of the show yesterday. Bible Studies with Michelle, John 21. Do you need help?
Okay, no, but here's the thing. Our nation is going to come back together.
Yep.
And I think that it's no longer going to be Republican and Democrat. It's just going to be righteousness and Jesus. Jesus is king. I mean, Kanye West is going around saying Jesus is king. And the one thing I said, the one thing everybody's been saying, if Donald Trump gets the one thing the Democrats haven't factored in is they have not factored in a black vote. Well, the power vote, but a black vote going for Trump.
Right.
Like the black vote.
They've had the black vote in their pocket since.
If there's just a couple percentage points, 1%, 2% flipping, they don't have. I believe they do have control of the voting machines. Soros has control of the voting machines. But I don't believe they have the ability to just flip them all. I think that they have the ability. I think they have to know beforehand how many extra votes they need. I don't know how they do it. But I think that like Donald Trump got more votes than we know. I think he did get the popular vote, and I think that this is what the Lord spoke to me because I was getting really discouraged when I saw the governor races
in Kentucky. It was, and now Matt Bevin had contested that. Did that ever get realized?
No, it has not. I think it's still out there.
Dale Jones says Sodom and Gomorrah never came back together after they were destroyed. And that's very true. Do you need the chords or anything?
That's funny. All right. Where am I? That's a different song. But that's really that was fun. Wasn't that fun?
Oh, you're not playing the Ed Sheeran song?
No.
Oh, I was getting ready to sing it. I was looking at the lyrics. Darn it.
Oh. No, I wasn't actually. I
love that song.
I'm singing my anointed song. But
Okay.
I wrote another song with that in it. But that's cool. It was really fun. That was really fun. Oh, I do have this here in case you want to look at the. It's here.
You typed up your own song? Yeah. This is a Leah original, by the way.
The spirit of
Summon.
I'll get it. Hang on.
Because he has anointed me. You sing it better, but I know how it
Spirit of
goes.
the Lord God is upon me, because he has anointed me. Anointed me. Preach good tidings to the poor, heal up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, we're setting all the prisoners free, proclaim the year of Jubilee, God's justice for you and me, comfort to all who mourn. This is Isaiah 61 in case you didn't know. Comfort to all who mourn. Open my eyes so I can see the heavenly halls surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear the heavenly. Oh, sorry. Open my eyes so I can see the heavenly halls surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear the Spirit of the Lord. You are ever near. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's ears. Oh, heaven's ears. Oh, give me heaven's ears. Oh, heaven's ears.
I'm helping you. Let me sing it and you'll get
That's
it.
how it goes.
That's not how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's my song.
I'm telling you, I know how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's
I'm
okay.
trying
This
to
is
tell
the
you
new
right
way. This
here.
is how
You
my
can't
song goes.
rewrite it.
This is how my song goes.
You rewrote it then.
Okay, then I rewrote it. That's how my song goes.
Michelle knows.
So that's my song.
Can I sing it the way that you sung it originally and you'll remember that it was better that way the first time?
That's my song.
Sing it, play it. I'll show you.
I'm starting over.
No, I'm going to tell you.
Just let me sing my song.
No. Little sister. I'm allowed
Stop.
to do this thing.
God dang, what? The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because he has anointed me. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because he has anointed me. Anointed me. To give beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for sadness, the garment of praise for that spirit of despair, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the garden, the planting of our Lord, for the glory of God. Open my eyes
I know that's how it went, and it was really cool when you did it like that. It was the coolest part of the whole song. You just scrapped it?
Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because he has anointed me. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because he has anointed me. The joy of the Lord washes over me. He has clothed me with his salvation. He has covered me in righteousness. We are the seed that God has blessed. But you will be called the priest of our God. Oh, the ministers of our Lord. But you will be called the priest of our God. Oh, the ministers of our Lord. So open my eyes so I can see the heavenly halls surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear the Spirit of the Lord. You are ever near. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's ears. Oh, heaven's ears. Oh, give me heaven's ears. Oh, heaven's ears. Open my eyes so I can see the heavenly halls surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear the Spirit of the Lord. You are ever near. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, heaven's eyes. Give me heaven's eyes. Open my eyes so I can see the heavenly halls surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear the Spirit of the Lord. You are ever near. Open my eyes, open my eyes, open my eyes, oh, open my eyes, open my ears, open my ears. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are ever near. Give me heaven's eyes. Open my eyes so I can see the heavenly halls surround me. Open my ears so I can hear. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are ever near. Give me heaven's eyes, Lord God. Let's lead our country. Bring about this great awakening, Father God, that we're praying for, that we know, Father God, that you're leading, God. You're leading us. You're opening people's eyes. You're opening people like Kanye West. Father God, continue to open all of our eyes to your truth. Let the anointing flow. Let his revival rise up in the hearts of men and women around here. Because the Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because he has anointed me. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because he has anointed me. Anointed me. Preach good tidings, spoke to the poor, heal of the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, we're setting all the prisoners free. Red pill, everybody, proclaiming the year of Jubilee. God's justice for you and me, comfort to all who mourn, to give beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for sadness, the garment of praise for that spirit of despair, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the garden, the planting of our God. The joy of the Lord washes over me. He has clothed me with his salvation. He has covered me in righteousness. We are the seed that God has blessed. But you will be called the priests of all God. Oh, the ministers of our Lord. But you will be called the priests of our God. The ministers of our Lord. So open my eyes so I can see the heavenly hosts surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear. Oh, Holy Spirit, you are ever near. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's eyes. Oh, heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's ears. Oh, heaven's ears. Oh, give me heaven's ears. Oh, heaven's ears. Open my eyes so I can see the heavenly hosts surrounding me. Open my ears so I can hear the Spirit of the Lord, you are ever near. Open my eyes, open my eyes, open my eyes, open my eyes. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because he has anointed me. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because he has anointed me. Anointed me.
Yay! Now, would you sing that one part just
I will let you sing.
No, I want
No, go
I
ahead.
want to sing because I don't
know
sing
you're
it
gonna
like
sing
you
it.
did.
Okay.
I want to remind you that I want you to sing it that way.
No.
Because remember how I kept telling you, Leah, I can't do it. Only you can do it. I'm going to remind you. Now remember how you sang it when I tell you how you sang it. Heaven's eyes, oh, heaven's eyes. Oh, give me heaven's eyes, oh, heaven's eyes. No, you sang it that way. That's how you wrote the song. You go back and listen to it. That's how you wrote it. Sing it with me again and show them how it's doing. Give me heaven's eyes, oh, heaven's eyes. Get high. Oh, give me heaven's eyes, oh, heaven's eyes. That's how you wrote the daggum song.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
And you know what? The songs, they tend to take on a new life of themselves. I kind of like the way I switched it up, but that's okay.
Fine. But you can't switch it up live with somebody that doesn't know the new way.
That's just the way that flew out of my mouth at the time.
But I think you should throw it in there.
Can't you do like Kanye and be like, okay, like next time, let's do it this way? Because I got the open my eyes part. That's what I was focused on.
Yeah, I know. And you got
and so next time we can work on the others. You know,
no, it doesn't need. I like it that way, but I just like it the other way too. I don't see why you can't just mix it up.
Nothing. We could have practiced it afterwards.
Okay.
It would have been good.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, we have a P.O. box.
Yes, Dale, Leah wrote that song. We have a P.O. box. Here it is. P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio, 45150. USA, if you're sending these from across the pond or somewhere else. Oh, like Canada or South America. Which is not across the pond.
It's so funny because they use the $. I'm pretty sure it's cost 260 cent stamps. So it's like $60. That's a $120 card.
Oops. I know. That always throws me off when they send them from Jamaica. Actually, it does say, whoop, there it is, $.
Remember, it's not just a conspiracy. If it's a truth, please like, comment, and subscribe to Masturbate 3 and Resistance Chicks.
Ring that bell for notifications so that you get notified if YouTube allows you to. I'm so thrown off here. We'll be back on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, cover UK news. We got a lot to cover. There's so many videos
do,
out right
and
now.
you know what I would really like to do, and I know everybody would get upset if we did this, but and we won't do this, but it's my ideal. It's gonna rain tomorrow. Sunday's gonna be beautiful. I would love to pre-record tomorrow's show on Saturday and just premiere it at 1 p.m. on Sunday so we can be outside doing stuff because we have a lot to catch up on. So we shall see. God knows.
I don't know. We could actually do a live show and then replay it on Sunday.
Right. Could do it. Yeah.
And people be like,
and that they show up, it's just there premiering. That would be great. All right. So we love you. God loves you. Remember,
it's not just a conspiracy theory if they set up JFK, this treasonous cabal, and they're trying to do it to Trump.
Right.
But God
will get the glory for raising the dead.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see you guys back here on Sunday, either premiered or whatever. Maybe we'll do a show tomorrow. Who knows? All right, I'm pressing the ending here. Thank you for the letter, Simon, and thank you for the ham, Robert Bone. I'm very excited about that, like really excited about it. So God bless, and I'm pressing the ending right now. Bye, guys.
Let's go all alone. Your